Hi,
Thanks, Lorenz.
I'm host Eric. I was talking to famous people. I'm here with assorted famous peoples in the room, and we are talking about today the configuration of types who tend to hang out here. What that means about the types, what that means about this place, or what that means about the types that aren't here. And I will start by noting the general demographics are as follows. I would say, and people can correct me, that the primary types who hang around here are ENTPs, INTPs, INFJs, um, uh, I mean, there's a spread of. There's another type that I'm forgetting. Oh, INFPs. So,
INTJs. INTJs. There's more INTJs than INFPs.
okay, INTJs, INFPs, INTPs, INFJs, ENTPs, and as far as other E's, we're kind of the only E's that predominate, except for, of course, ESFPJC here. What other E's do we have around besides ENTPs?
Joe.
What kind of E is he? Oh, he's an
He,
ENFJ?
he identifies himself as ESFP.
ESFP?
Yeah.
Interesting. Any other E's we got around here? We don't really have a lot of other E's besides ENTPs, right?
Well,
If Jordan's
yeah. We don't need to get into that, but I consider myself an E.
Jordan, you might be an E. You are on camera an awful lot. That would make some sense. We don't know what Jordan's type is. I don't know. I've identified him ISTP. I've identified him.
It's not for this video. Let's put it that way.
Abraham's either ES or ENFJ. I think he's ENFJ. He's tested ESFJ, but it's possible he is, and I just don't. He's got bad SI. I don't know. So that's him. Who else do we have that's E? Anybody? That's not an ENTP?
When I was in high school, I still need to find it so I can know for sure, but I'm pretty sure I tested ESTP. But I think that's only because I was an athlete. I wonder if anybody ever tested their reverse before.
Their dual? They might if you were really seeking,
Let's see, no ESTJs that ever come in here, right?
We had that one lady. What's her name? I don't remember her name. She was here like twice. As an she seemed very ESTJ-ish. We typed her as ESTJ. I don't remember her name though.
And then we've had the we've had the ESFJ that you had a couple weeks ago around the new year. You had him. He was becoming in training to be a CO.
Yeah.
Correctional officer.
Oh, Johnny, right. Yeah, Johnny's here. Yeah, I could get Johnny over here to participate in that potentially, but I couldn't get him over here to participate in it. I'd have to wait for him to just arrive and would have to fall into place.
We forgot about Neff.
Oh, yeah, ENFP.
Yeah.
Okay. But for the most part, this place is populated by ENTPs and Is. We don't have many ISs. We do have ISFJ Jewel, and we've got ISFP Katie, who comes along with ENTP Taylor. So,
And Patrick, Basement Overlord.
Basement Overlord, ISTP, and
Some other possible ISTPs who we don't know if they're ISTP or something else.
I would say the most common three types, kind of by far here, are ENTPs, INTPs, and INFJs.
I agree.
Yes, I agree.
I agree. So, okay, what does that tell us about types? What does it tell us about this place, etc., yada, yada, yada? So the conversation here is obviously pretty abstract in general, which is going to attract the people who are more interested in the meaning-making processes rather than the sensing processes. The difference being simply that, as a general rule, sensors will take in experiences, find the utility in terms of meaning from them, take that meaning away from it, and throw the rest of it away. Whereas intuitives will take the experience in, if they're in I, they'll find all the inherent meanings in it, and then if they're any, they'll make a lot of new meanings off it, and they'll sort of stick it in the back of their head, and it'll just sort of, the thing will never really get processed through. It'll just be there, sort of grow shit on it, and then, before you know it, you're lost in the clouds. So that's, I think, one of the things that we can anticipate would correlate strongly with this channel is a tendency to prefer meaning making over conclusive processing.
It seems like DI has a demand for stimulation. Like maybe TI just doesn't get enough of it in the real world. We don't have enough discussions like these where you can just go off on all kinds of tangents and different ideas on a deeper level. I think it's a TI need.
Well, okay, sure. Maybe that's the case, but presumably we could get that by reading some complicated book with a lot of logical ideas and stuff in it, and it wouldn't be engaging.
And then it's FE.
Yeah.
NTPs and INFJ, we have TI and FE.
And so do I.
We want to talk to somebody.
Same with INTPs.
I found that there's a lot of any acceptance around here, which is not always the case in the day-to-day, real world.
That's true. Yeah, it's bruising out there, isn't it? Don't we get beat up a bit?
It's hard for me sometimes to accept any. Like if somebody is doing a lot of any, I have to remember not to say no, not that, no, it's not no, because that's my NI wants to get it chiseled down to one thing, and y'all are like no.
Well, NI doesn't like the let's throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. It doesn't like that. It says no because then you have a bunch of shit on the wall. You see, that's the problem. And you go, yeah, but you gotta get some shit on the wall if you want to make an omelet. And you go, no, that's breaking eggs. So that's the the bit of the conflict there. But yeah, well, I think the thing about it is, in this environment, any has to learn to be moderated by FE because you're engaged in group discussions. It's something I continue and probably forever will struggle with, as my NE wants to steal the brain holding position of my consciousness all the time.
I think of any NI like a wine tasting. NE wants to try as many as possible, and NI wants to savor each one.
Possibly.
At school, I usually whip out my NE because, like you said, those deep, meaningful conversations are often absent in a school environment. So I usually pull that out, and that can get a little out of hand every once in a while. But
Well, it's because
Are
they're
you still
boring
in school, Troy?
yeah, sorry.
Are you still in school?
Yes.
What grade are you in?
10th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
So-
the only high school student we have around here. There's others.
You're not.
Well, I go to a Sudbury school. Ever heard of them?
I hear you.
A Sudbury school? They're quite
don't-
different from regular schools. They, everything is decided by, everybody has a fair say in the democratic, it's completely democratic, and you're not forced to do anything except one chore a day, and you just choose whatever you want to do all day, whether it be going to class, whatever it may be. That's pretty much it.
So what are you focused on right now?
Nothing, but I'm working on that. I feel like that's
I
a
don't
very,
think it's nothing.
well,
That's not
Yeah,
my
nothing.
idea. That's not it at all. Because okay, let me ask you this, Troy.
Yeah.
Is there a competition element to the thing? Is there any sort of objective metric that says this person's better than that person in this thing?
it's like similar to grades?
Well,
What do
I
you-
mean,
what do you
but I'm more okay. Well, that would be one way to do that, but I would call that not a particularly strong way of doing competition. But yeah, that would be a way of establishing competition.
Okay, you got me completely lost.
So is there
I,
is there a
you, when,
grade is there a metric for comparison between the students to say who is better than whom else in whatever field or in whatever thing?
oh, like, are you saying that is there such a thing, or does the school?
Does your school have it?
No, they do not.
Okay. So then that's not at all my idea, no, at all. That school sounds like a ridiculous waste of time. My school
It
idea
does.
is that everything is super, super competitive and all results are published everywhere so that if you are bad at something, it's on the wall. Last place, failure, massive failure, John Smith.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And that's for every assignment all the time. And all assignments are head to head, pairings,
Uh,
win loss. There's no grades other than that in my system. It's totally different than that thing. That thing's a
yeah,
waste of
yeah, yeah. They were all, yeah, completely different. But yeah,
So, what is a typical day like?
depends on the person. But for me, as of late, usually, sometimes I'll just sit in the library for a while and do nothing. Sometimes I'd read a book. This is for now, as I mentioned, and the rest of the time, I guess, conversation.
When's the last time you had a conversation?
Not including now.
Right.
Well, it's 1 a.m.
No,
right?
including
2 a.m.
now.
right now.
I mean, at school with when you use the word discussions, I was looking for the last time you had something like that.
Well, yesterday.
What was it about?
It depends. It's kind of all over the place. But
Okay.
anything, I suppose.
And who are you discussing it with?
Anybody?
Students
I
or
mean,
or like
Well, both. Yeah, both. Teachers
So-
often get it.
So do you find yourself engaged in like TINE philosophical discussions with other people, or is it usually more
I
surface level?
attempt to do so, but it doesn't usually pan out.
if this school were effective for you, what would it be doing for you?
If the school was effective, like actually like had a system, more of a system.
Well, I'm saying, imagine Troy were in charge, really in charge, not in charge of getting to do what he wants in the moment, but in charge of the long-term outcome and skill development, shit he wants to develop and stuff he wants to do, and blah 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 blah. What projects would it actually facilitate you to accomplish? What sort of shit would you be doing if instead of just letting you figure it out, it actually was project managing you into accomplishing something?
That's a good question.
You need time to think about it.
What are you trying to get at? Like, what's your main point?
I want to help you take advantage of this situation you're currently in by
I-
reframing your
yes.
understanding of it. Think of it as project oriented. What kind of shit do you want to do? What kind of shit do you actually want to accomplish instead of being like, how do I want to spend my time? Not how do I want to spend my time, not what do I want to learn, what do I want to think about? What do you actually want to do? What projects do you want to
I've
get
been
done?
contemplating that for a while.
Okay, well, that's time to stop that. That's what I'm saying. No more
Yeah,
contemplation.
yeah. What do I want to do is also a good question. I wanted to get involved in filmmaking filmmaking is one of them. I enjoy that very much.
Congratulations! You've already started
Uh,
today on Talking with Famous People Raw Channel. You are involved. You are in your first film. This is your first adult film.
Oh yeah, okay, that works.
What part of film intrigues you? Is it more like the coming up with the story? Is it like the acting, the editing?
Personally, I wouldn't act, but editing is a big one, and the writing, I would do.
The storyboards are attractive to you.
Not really. I don't. Yeah. I would probably picture it in my head. I guess that would be better for everybody to understand the scene, but I've never really thought about that.
Are you more interested in composing scenes or composing narratives?
Well, they kind of go hand in hand, so both.
Well, they go together in film, but they're two kind of different.
Yeah, they're two different things, but I would like to be in control of both.
Well, think about this. The reason she makes the distinction, perhaps, is that with something like this, there's a bunch of raw footage. There's actually a downloader app that you can get to download these things, all these videos. This one that you're in, for example, to your computer without having to do anything except use the downloader app instead of some other way to get it. Anyway, and then one could imagine oneself going through some of these endless hours of raw footage and putting together narratives out of the storylines that occur within them, for example, without having any control over the scenes themselves, but simply building it out of this endless pile of possible storylines and sentences and paragraphs and shit that people say, you know? So that would be a distinct way to do some sort of filmmaking. I'm not suggesting you should. I'm just saying that's a reason why it's worthwhile making the distinction.
Yeah, or like a more traditional screenplay for a film or something. You typically start with a narrative and then a written screenplay with very, very basic directions,
Yeah.
And then
yes.
eventually you get to the actual physical manifestations of scenes and camera angles, and they're separate processes. Like they tie together,
Yeah,
but it's a sequential thing.
But I'm trying to figure out why I can't do both. That's what I'm trying
You
to figure
can.
out.
I was just curious,
I mean,
whether you had an emphasis about which one you're working on now, or trying to learn first, or explore.
probably
So-
the, yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, probably the narrative, constructing a narrative first. That would actually make more sense, logically speaking, because then if you just go right into the second part, it would probably be pretty confusing.
Do you have a narrative you're currently working on?
Depends on how you put that. I don't have anything written down.
Yes, you're INTP, right?
That's why I'm asking you to make sure I don't.
Okay, all right. Hey, I'm not busting your chops, dude. You are welcome here. You're among friends. It is safe
Well, I know
here.
that.
I'm not
I
trying
was
to bust
just-
your chops at all. I am trying to encourage you to try practicing editing with talking with famous people raw footage, which you can do whatever the fuck you want with. And if you give me
Yes.
it, I'll publish it to the main channel.
Well, I mean, I've edited
and
before.
Okay, well, I'm just
Exactly.
saying, if you're somebody
What-
who's
what's
wasting
your
all your
goal
fucking
in
time in
this-
school,
in
you
this
describe a
talk?
school day where you sit in the library and then you have conversations that don't really go anywhere. Maybe
Well, I
one
was
friend
just
of the-
I was just enrolled, so I'm still trying to get used to all of it, and then I plan on doing a lot of. I know.
Okay,
you're
all
gonna-
right. You don't want any
Yeah,
facilitation.
I'm gonna-
That's fine.
I'm
I don't
gonna-
want to facilitate.
Yes, I'm gonna do something. Yes, for sure.
Watch me not
Eric is not
facilitate.
trying to bust your chops. He's trying to help you.
It's okay,
Oh, I'm
JC.
not-
He doesn't want facilitation. It's fine. I get
I'm
it. NTP. Sometimes we're a little stubborn. INTP's included. I understand.
Mm.
NTP Brotherhood says it's cool.
Yeah.
So Troy, about a year ago, I took I did take a film class where like we learned all about like editing and I can't say it, cinematography and stuff like that. So and it kind of ruined movies for me because now I can't really watch a movie without dissecting it and see the different parts of it. Is that the same way with you, or do you actually
I
are
do
you
that.
able
I
to?
tend to analyze it, but that's the part I enjoy though, is analyzing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it tends to annoy other people if I say it out loud, and it's like for example we're watching Willy Wonka, and the Oompa Loompas that would sing and whatever. And I was saying right when they're done with their musical number, they happen to be finished with work and leave
You're
the
not
room.
looking at me at the moment.
It's like they just completed that work. How did that
Friends here
happen?
and-
I guess you could say Willy Wonka planned it all out,
I'm
but
talking about people raw room
I just
currently.
Yeah, I think that film class learning how to
Whatever they're having conversations.
in a way ruins.
I don't know at the moment because I have the audio turned off, so I can talk to you. There's a picture of Yalor. So Lightbulb, right at a beautiful moment, decides to show us a picture of Yalor. And Yalor, of course, is the demigod of never wrong and the center of the Yalorian religion. Now, I'm Pastor Eric. Probably the world's foremost expert on Yalorianism, outside of perhaps Yalor again himself. But the moral of the story is everyone knows who Yalor is. Why? Because it's a community that shares a history, a mythology, a big set of commonalities that they can refer to, all of which are generated here in what is called the raw room. Now,
Oversaturated.
Never thought to look or
I
notice.
guess we could take it in 2 cents oversaturated, actually.
Guys.
bye, JC. Happy
Adios.
birthday, dude. So I was just looking at some stuff and I had this muted for a second. Were you talking about some sort of sciencey stuff? Silver saturated, whatever?
No, he was saying.
I was in a different manner. I meant it in like it's overused. It's oversaturated in film.
What is? Cheese?
The use of the colors is oversaturated, not the colors
Oh.
themselves.
I see.
Like
I got you.
it's another way of saying overused, I suppose.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We were talking
But you-
about general saturation, not color saturation.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, when I said that, I realized we would take it in two completely different ways. So I was like, yeah.
I see. I don't really know a whole lot about.
And he said orange and teal are the ones that are.
Okay, I don't really know a whole lot about visual stuff, but I do know about playing a little bit with still images in still like these kind of shit that the composer uses. I do some of that shit, but I only do it for. I don't really understand the principles behind it. I don't have very good visual instincts or anything. I just kind of clumsily move shit around until it fits my my eyes pleasing bone.
Mhm. Yeah.
Troy, this I gotta ask you about to do something with your camera positioning or something. That light
Is that?
behind you is driving me nuts.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
turn? Can you
I thought that
position?
might have been. I guess I
Yeah,
can't put it upwards.
there you go.
So
That's
move it.
better. Can you
Oh,
go
now there's
down?
another light. Okay.
That's better. If you're between them,
And
that's better.
as long as, yeah, as long as it doesn't move, like,
It's perfect.
just like
But,
it just.
okay. Well,
You know.
yeah. The thing that Cup's is using there, it looks like some sort of. I think it's Photoshop. Looks like taking one down. What are you taking down, Neptune? Are you taking a pony down
Sorry.
to the county fair?
I was responding to his son's comment. When I said HBD, he said had a bad day, and then I was reciting the rest of the song lyrics. You know,
I wasn't familiar with that. I'm not familiar with the song. I like to respond
had
to
a
chat
bad
things out of
day,
context.
taking
Yeah.
one down, sing a sad song, just turn it around.
Yeah, I know
That
that
one.
song. I do know that song after all. That's a good one. Had a bad day.
I remember
That's a
being
good
very
one.
sad and getting off the bus after a bad day, listening to that song.
Neptune, have you learned the song that was written about you yet?
I swear I haven't actually listened to it all the way through. I've only read the lyrics.
You should listen to it. It's good. It's catchy.
I believe it. I've never gotten around to it.
Let's see.
Just listen to that one verse over and over again.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go to bed now. What time is it? 11 p.m. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. Good night, everybody. Thank
Have a
you
good
for
one,
being
Eric.
here. Appreciate you guys being here.
Night.